In case you didn't know from my last video essay, I really like the horror genre. In fact, I think of myself as a fanatic for most spooky stuff. Considering that I'm literally the creator of Welcome to Dreamworld, an analog horror series here on YouTube that has a lot of dark themes and story elements, this should not be surprising to anyone. I doubt that there's somebody shaking in their seat, gasping and clutching their chest in outrage at this revelation. What? Rainbott likes the horror genre? Blasphemy! In all seriousness, of which my usual amount is none, I've been a fan of the horror genre for as long as I can remember. I was reading horror stories all the way back in grade school, and I have a lot of nostalgia for all of the horrible things I witnessed as a result. So, out of morbid curiosity, I thought that it would be fun to make a video exploring all of the scary stuff I watched when I was a kid, aka someone who was way too young to see this stuff. Some of these videos were scary things that I sought out on purpose, to fulfill my terrible desire to explore the horror genre online, but some of them were actually animations that I stumbled across by accident without any prior knowledge of what they were. If there is any moral to this story, it was that children shouldn't be allowed to have unsupervised internet access until they're 13. Actually, that might be a bit harsh. I mean, look at me. I was scarred for life by all of those videos, and I turned out great. Now, I'd like to start us off with one of the classics. These videos were in the golden age of YouTube, and they also permanently changed the millions of kids who saw them. If you've never seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. You may be thinking that's something that a dad would say, and that's because I am your dad. Me, the non-binary college student with 2 partners and crippling anxiety. I am your father now, so go watch this series because it's actually really good.
I love you. Goodbye.
If you want a general idea, each episode of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared focuses around a specific topic, like creativity or time, and features a fun song about it. It's set up to be in the style of popular children's shows like Sesame Street, using cute puppets and music to educate the audience about the episode's theme. However, most of the information being taught has either been heavily warped by the teacher or is just downright factually incorrect. From cult-like brainwashing to cannibalism and murder, these videos put all their horror on full display, sometimes with extremely graphic imagery or gore.
It's change your name!
Clean your brain. Forget about anything you ever knew.
And your heart will find its home.
And our love will never go.
Now wear this ring
And join the king!
and you will never be alone.
When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time hanging out with family friends, aka people who were the kids of the adults that were friends with my parents. We never really had much in common, because most of them thought I was weird for some reason, but these videos actually gave us something cool to talk about. One of the girls I was visiting had shown me the first video when it began to get popular online, and I was hooked. I would eagerly wait for each episode to come out, hooking my family computer up to the TV so I could watch the videos over and over again to see my friends' reactions. I don't know why, but seeing all of this dark, morbid content corrupting the cute, safe environment of a children's show fascinated me a lot. Unfortunately, this is a theme that we will continue to see throughout this video.
Why can't I remember the password? Stupid brain, I know it's in there. Stupid.
Hey, come on. It's not your fault. You're just a
In hindsight, these videos weren't nearly as bad as some of the other stuff I was seeing online, but it was probably a red flag that 9-year-old me was obsessed with puppets cutting up a cake made of bloody organs. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is an amazing series, and the original creators just finished making their own TV show with a similar vibe. It's really good, and it's also really funny. You should check it out.
Well, I say put the clipboard in the bin, because I hate the clipboard. And add a little bit more margarine. We gotta get things ready for the big day.
What are we doing?
Oh no, it's the funeral. It's the funeral, sorry.
You idiot!
What? Don't say that to me, I didn't
Talk to him
mean
like
to.
that.
What?
You said
Turn
that you
on
weren't
me.
going to talk to him
He
like that
ruined
anymore.
it. I'm never going to see that
boo-hoo,
skeleton.
here we
Thank
go.
you.
Well, I'm dealing with it!
I don't want to do this anymore.
However, that was a popular series online, and it wasn't an official show on TV when I was a kid. Was there anything that traumatized me in the waking world outside of the internet? The short answer is yes, and the long answer is Disc 13. What the fuck is Disc 13? Minecraft was such a fun little game. I remember playing it in grade school, building a house on the edge of a cliff with my younger brother. And then a creeper blew up that house, so we built a new one on top of the ocean instead. I remember I was mining in a dungeon, minding my own business and singing My Little Pony music while playing Minecraft on my Xbox. And then I found it. My very first music disc. I was ecstatic. I had never found something like this on any of my mining trips before. I immediately rushed home to our music player to listen to the disc, ready to reap the rewards of my dungeon quest. And then I got the lovely gift of listening to this. Mojang? What the fuck was that? Why did you put that in your game? Do I think it's cool as hell now? Yeah. Was I horrified as a small, bright-eyed child? Also, yeah. It gives you so many questions and offers absolutely zero answers. It just made me scared to go back into any of the caves for a while, because I didn't want to die a horrible death. Speaking of dying a horrible death, do you guys remember the regular show Halloween episodes? Specifically the one where Rigby turns into a house. If that sounds insane, let me tell you that it was the least horrifying part of the episode. While I talk about this episode, I am legally required to tell you about my favorite joke from the entire series.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
Hey, wait a second! Are those even kids in those costumes?
It all starts to go downhill after Rigby eggs a wizard's house on Halloween. The wizard turns Rigby into a house, but when Benson interrupts his speech, he claims that everyone at the park would also be punished. The gang takes refuge inside of Rigby. I hate that I just said that. Suddenly, Muscle Man is taken away. We don't see what grabbed him or what's happening to him. We only see his shotgun going off in the distance as he's dragged farther and farther through the woods. When he returns, we see that he was skinned alive. What the fuck? Another show that scarred me for life was The Misadventures of Flapjack, which is a beautiful piece of animation history that should always be respected as such. While I will always admire how much this show gave us and changed modern cartoons for the better, I will also always wonder why they chose to include this cat in the show.
I think I know what you want. String!
I was on vacation with my family, and we were staying at a beach house with another family that went on the trip with us. The other kids and I would crowd around the TV on the first floor to watch cartoons after getting back from playing at the beach all day, like some sort of nightly ritual. When we saw that cat come on screen, nobody else wanted to watch cartoons with me for the rest of the night. Even I was uncomfortable after seeing the tiny teeth inside of its void of a mouth. Ugh. But Flapjack is a show that's notorious for having a lot of disturbing stuff in it, so that was just one instance in a literal sea of other scares. You know what show wasn't known for being dark or disturbing? The Powerpuff Girls. Yes, I was deeply disturbed by an episode of The Powerpuff Girls, and it's not just because they never brought back the squirrel character. Do you guys remember Bullet the Squirrel? He was an honorary member of the Powerpuff Girls in the original cartoon, and I was always mad because he took another color of the rainbow. I already couldn't be green or purple, and now I couldn't be orange either. What color am I supposed to make my self-insert OC? The answer is silver, because I like shiny robots and Silver the Hedgehog. Make fan art of me as the Silver Powerpuff Girl, I dare you. Anyways, back to my childhood trauma. I was such a huge fan of the Powerpuff Girls that I knew every single member of the team, both official and honorary. Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, Bullet, Princess Morbucks, unfortunately, the Rowdy Rough Boys, who were actually rivals, not allies, but they were my favorites, so shut up. And last but not least, Bunny. This purple girl was featured in one episode, and we never see her again after that. This is because she died. She exploded on screen because she was created by the other girls, and she wasn't stable enough to continue existing. That was such a fun show for kids. You know what else is super fun for kids? Disney World! I can't count how many vacations my family has taken there, but I will always remember one of the first visits we ever had. On the day we were visiting Hollywood Studios, we booked a reservation at a restaurant called the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. I always loved camping outdoors and eating at 80s-themed diners, since I am a sucker for retro theming, so this was the best of both worlds for me. The theater was set up to look like a bunch of old cars parked outside at night, lined up in front of a big screen like a real outdoor theater. The screen at the front of the theater would play old horror movie trailers while you eat, and there was one clip in particular that bothered me. That was the trailer for The Blob, which is honestly just as ridiculous as it sounds. But I looked up clips from the movie on YouTube after my mom told me more about it, and yeah, no. I can't show clips from the movie or anything, but it was definitely quite traumatic, especially seeing some of the death scenes in the remake later on. I was always scared of being dissolved in a vat of acid or eaten alive by some giant ball of jello. It's kind of like how you always worry about how you'll escape quicksand when you're a kid, even though that isn't an actual problem you'll face on a daily basis. It was really dumb. Another really dumb thing that scared me as a kid were those anti-piracy screens that played before movies. I have no idea what to say about this since it's pretty self-explanatory, but I somehow convinced myself that I'd be arrested every single time I saw one of these. Did I understand how to pirate movies when I was 5? No. Did I think that the cops would break into my house whenever I saw one of those screens? Yes. Yes, I did.
FBI, open up!
Let's go back to the internet for some more deep-cut references. Like DeviantArt. Just kidding, I don't want to talk about DeviantArt. If you don't know why I was traumatized by DeviantArt as a child, I do not personally recommend searching for anything on that website. Most of my audience is too young to witness the stuff on that site, and I seriously mean it. Even if you're like 13 years old and you're like, psh, I like scary stuff, I can handle it, I know. You probably watch Welcome to Dreamworld on my channel and other horror content, so I already know that you're a badass. Going to DeviantArt won't show you any scary stuff, it's just going to be gross fetish art. Don't look into it. If you do want to peek at the horrors of the internet outside of DeviantArt, then I highly encourage a deep dive into the finest source of online horror. Creepypasta. This was a topic that I already talked about in my analog horror retrospective, so I won't spend a lot of time covering it here. But there are some pretty strong stories in the creepypasta genre. Most of my favorites were My Little Pony creepypastas, because I was a brony, and I still am a brony. I'm literally turning my MLPOCs into characters in an original story for my upcoming webcomic. Look at that! Look at all those horses! You should go read Heroes of Destiny when the comic starts, it'll be a lot of fun.
Are you using everybody else's imagination?
Yeah, I need everybody to go into the adjacent car and just turn towards the engineer's car and really focus on it, okay?
And then clap if you believe in fairies.
All right, is everybody done that?
Everybody moves in there. All right, so you've moved everybody into the dining car.
Right.
You're still in the cargo car?
Right, and then everybody face towards the front of the train and really focus on it, okay?
Okay.
Okay? Now, while they're doing that, I scoop the remaining valuables into my bag.
But we wouldn't be here talking about my horse webcomic if I wasn't horribly scarred for life by all of the My Little Pony creepypasta content online. The worst of it came from animations made by Mr. Davy, including Cupcakes and Smile HD. I feel like these are pretty well known for traumatizing the youth, but I'll give you a basic rundown of it here for context.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this.
Cupcakes is an animated video based on the fanfiction of the same name. It follows Pinkie Pie trapping Rainbow Dash in her cellar, violently tearing her apart and torturing her before using her insides to make cupcakes. As a child, I did not enjoy all of the blood and gore, but this video was shockingly tame in comparison to Smile HD. Smile HD starts out very innocently, with Pinkie Pie running to greet her friends at a picnic they set up outside. But it quickly takes a turn when she kicks off Twilight Sparkle's head. This obviously kills her, and the rest of the video consists of Pinkie Pie brutally murdering the rest of her friends in a bloody death battle. Fun! Another really fucked up take on MLP was the pony.mov series, which I recently rewatched after seeing someone make an FNF mod based on one of the episodes. The mod actually goes way harder than it should, by the way. It's amazing. Now, I want you to imagine the most gross, graphic, and horribly violent scenes in adult shows like Family Guy. Give them a platform where they have absolutely zero restrictions or censors, and animate it with as much grotesque imagery that could be fit into a Ren and Stimpy styled cartoon. Got all that in your brain? Good, good. Now multiply it by 6, because it probably wouldn't even come close to the sort of content in the pony.mov series. I know that a lot of people were scarred by Happy Tree Friends as a kid, because the cartoon would start really cutesy and then suddenly turn into a torture porn halfway through, but the pony.mov series would take characters from the original My Little Pony TV series and depict them as selfish, greedy, deeply disturbed asshats. Everyone in the show is a different flavor of irredeemable bitch, usually in some extremely offensive manner like owning a sweatshop or literally murdering people with a chainsaw. The least horrible character is probably Applejack, but that's only because she goes on an adventure in another universe fighting monsters while the rest of the cast gets high and commits horrible crimes against nature while their town gets destroyed.
Yo, what the fudgesicle?
Look, it's Applejack.
Applejack, where have you been? I feel like we haven't seen you in forever.
Hey, y'all, I'm back from my adventures in another dimension.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Nobody really cares.
Nobody cares, but I saved the entire multiverse from a giant—
Nobody cares, Applejack.
But I—
Nobody cares!
You stupid cunt, shut your fucking mouth. Oh my god, shut up, 1,000,000 times shut up. I'm going to kill you. Shut up. Nobody cares.
But even with how horrible these videos were, they were one of my favorite things to watch as a kid. I would quote jokes from the series all the time, even when there were some jokes I didn't even fully understand. Like, there's a joke in the Shed episode that I assumed was supposed to be funny because it was a mean-spirited Carrie reference, but it was actually a joke about someone's period blood. Yup. Quality content for childhood me.
Don't laugh at me! Stop laughing at me! Stay out of my shed! Stay out of my shed!
I think she said we're always welcome in her shed.
This series, along with Friendship is Witchcraft, actually played a big part in how I made my username when I first started social media as a kid. I really liked the idea of a robot Rainbow Dash, but the username was taken unless I added a second T, so sue me, I'm a nerd. Even though I'm more of a Fluttershy or Rarity fan now, and Rainbow Dash is probably one of my least favorites due to flanderization in the actual cartoon, the username has stuck with me for years and I don't ever plan on changing it. Especially since I like to use Rain as a nickname. It has a nice ring to it. Anyways, I think that's all I wanted to cover in this video because I refuse to acknowledge the existence of a bad case of stripes. Whoever illustrated that book should be drawing pictures for horror stories, not children's content. Don't show this to children. Why would you do that? Now that I'm done hyperfixating on a bunch of random topics for about 20 to 30 minutes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video essay. I had a lot of fun putting this one together, so you might be seeing more of these on my channel relatively soon. With that being said, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Also, if you support me on Patreon, you're sexy. It's a fact. If you support me on Patreon, you're really hot. Bobo agrees, right, Bobo? Bobo says you're hot if you support me on Patreon.